sir. So good to see you again.
Wonderful to see you
We were
again.
just talking about it. It's been officially a year,
Yes.
I think, since we last saw one another.
Mhm.
Yeah, how's San Diego going for you so far?
You know, it's a marathon. It really is. It's a wonderful, I don't want to say it's love-hate because it's mostly love, but it is, you love that we get to experience this all together. This is the happiest place on earth for so many of us. But then, you know, getting from one side of the convention center for a panel to a signing on the other side is like, fighting the traffic and the crowds and everything.
Yes,
But
it is
it's all love,
overwhelming. Yeah.
Overwhelming.
I see that you wore these shoes once again, and you didn't bring me a pair this year.
I know. They're on the coffee table on the.
I'm going to find it in my heart to forgive you somehow. Now,
But you definitely need these kind of shoes at an event like this.
I really do, especially since you got the Leo. We were just talking about how Leo's. Well, you got all of them on there.
See, that's a great part of this. The Boulairs, when they design them, is that you can put individual turtles on just one or the other, or you can do one of each. So I got
That's
all four.
cool.
I got to represent the whole family.
I'm just seething with jealousy right now. No, really, you know, there's a lot of big anniversaries coming up. Yes. I wanted to know, what's it like seeing kids, you know, fall in love with the Turtles now the same way that their parents did?
You know, it's so. The first word that always comes to mind is humbling, because it's one of those things that it's amazing that we're lucky enough to find those original fans from whether it be the black and white comic book or the original cartoon series or the movie, and then to have it continue on generationally to another group of fans, because it's always, you know, when you and I were kids, we decided what was cool and what wasn't. So it's you know, we know what we liked and what we didn't. And if they choose Turtles after all these years, it's such a huge compliment, such a fantastic thing.
Well,
So.
I mean, to that, and looking back on 4 decades of Turtles, I mean, I want to know which version of the Turtles, whether it's animated, live action, whatever, do you feel like best captured what you and Peter originally had in mind?
I always go straight to the first Turtle movie, because it was, with the obvious of the original black and white series that Peter and I did, but having had that experience, which was just the best ever, where we first get to fulfill that childhood dream of drawing comic books for a living, to the development of the cartoon show, which is a much lighter version. To me, the first Turtle movie was right in the middle. It had the edginess and the heart and soul and the importance of emotion and the edge of the darkness kind of stuff from the black and white comic books, but it had all the humor from the cartoon. And so to me, that's the perfect storm for all things Turtles, is that first movie.
And I think I told you this last year, but that first movie taught me my first cuss word.
That's right.
I said, I yelled, "Damn!" Got spanked by my babysitter. It was great.
That was great. I still, you know, it's probably, you know, your line of questions coming up. I still can't believe it's 35 years.
No, I know. It's crazy. It's the 35th
awesome?
anniversary is coming in, and I actually have tickets already to go see it in a couple of weeks in the theaters.
So excited they're doing that.
I am so excited to go see it, because I actually was kind of poor when I was a kid, and I had to wait till it came out on VHS to date me, you know, right there. But I waited for the VHS to come out, and now I'm getting to see it in the theaters. I'm taking my son. He's over there. We're going.
Sweet.
My wife, she's never seen it before, so we're all gonna go watch it together. That's got to be surreal for you to see it coming back around into the theater.
It really is. It's one of those things that, because the last time I got to see it, very lucky to see it on the big screen, was with Steve Barron, director Steve Barron, and it was the opening, and I can't remember the year exactly. I think 91, 92, but they opened a Tribeca Film Festival with a bunch of these mini sort of pop-up events, and one of them was the first Turtle movie. And so Steve and I got to watch it together and see it on the big screen, and it had not done that since it originally came out in 1990. So yeah, the Tribeca Film Festival was early 2000. Anyway, I'm mixing up my dates here, but it was to see it on the big screen again was just fantastic, because it's amazing how much of it still held up really well.
Yeah, no, it's a fantastic movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that say what you want about CGI, but that live action stuff is, you know, the puppetry and everything that Jim Henson did. I mean, that was incredible. It does make me a little sad when I see photos online of what those costumes look like now, where you kind of see, because they're not designed to last, you know, 35 years or whatever. So I see that and I'm like, oh no, it's kind of killing me a little bit inside. Like, somebody wrap that in, like, mummify those suits and save them.
We were lucky enough back in the day. Pete and I each got a costume from the set, but the way that they're designed, you know, because they need to breathe and move and flex to the actor that's wearing them. They're like 80-pound suits. They literally, the minute you pull them out of the molds, they practically start rotting. Then, so we washed them sort of clumber, and we asked, like, can we spray them with this? Can we spray them with that? And he said it breathes, and then they're going to turn to dust at some point. No
Yeah.
matter what you do, so.
Oh, that's as we all do.
Yeah. I'm feeling a little bit like that now.
Now, we've talked a little bit about this before, but I wanted to know how involved are you with the Last Ronin film? And because I need you to confirm that it's going to be set in that 1990 universe, and that this is going to be like a long-awaited sequel, and that's.
It's
You're not going to confirm it. Oh no.
Oh no! Well, I'll tell you this. Paramount and Nickelodeon have just been, because they own Turtles Lock, Stock, and Trademark, and they've just been nothing but really kind. And they do not have to bring me in to be involved in any parts of anything,
Right.
but they bring me in for the comics, the cartoon shows, consult on the movie, especially Last Ronin. I got to do voices in Mutant Mayhem, and I just adore that, and they're wonderful. But I have spoken to the screenwriter a couple times, and I'm really excited at what they're doing and what they're going to do with it. I can't confirm. They're all saying it's going to be R-rated, and they're going to be saying this, but until you know officially, we'll wait for word from them officially. But I'd love to be involved in any capacity, because it has really been a joy to be part of evolving the Turtles past everything that we've done into this whole new universe, which is all things Last Ronin.
Displates make your walls speak fluent fandom.
Look at that. Those are gorgeous.
These sleek metal posters feature official art from Marvel, Star Wars, DC, Star Trek, and tons more. We're talking comics, games, movies, anime, whatever you're into, there's a good chance Displate's got it.
Oh, amazing.
Oh, yeah. Wow, this is so cool.
Class.
If you're a collector, you'll love Displates. Hanging and swapping is super easy thanks to magnets, and the metal design means they look awesome for years to come, especially with that juicy 3D texture print.
This lasts for so long,
This is really cool. Like this metal.
and it's so easy to mount on your wall.
We're giving away a bunch of signed Displates from our interviews at San Diego Comic-Con. Enter now for free with the link in the description. You can shop the entire Displate collection at Displate.com. Maybe you can't even answer this, but is it going to be connected to some form of the Turtles that we've seen before, or do you think it's going to be its own original solo thing that has nothing connected to anything?
I think, basically what I've been told in the discussions, as limited as they are, is that what they loved about Last Ronin, because Last Ronin to me was a love poem to Frank Miller's Dark Knight, which was set, all things Batman exist in Dark Knight, but it was sort of set to a universe just to the left. So they didn't have to play by all the lineage rules and all the characters and all the stuff. They were able to tell a story all within itself. And with Last Ronin, we took that same approach, but it leans heavily on the Mirage universe, obviously. So issue 1 being the beginning, Last Ronin being the end, so to speak. And so they're definitely, my understanding is that's the approach they're going to take, and good for them and wise. I think it's the right way to go.
Also, I didn't get to ask you, what was your response to Mutant Mayhem? How'd you like that?
Loved it. I adored it.
It's so fun.
It was when I went in and I did some behind-the-scenes interviews, and Jeff Rowe and Evan, the guys invited me to do a voice. I play the good human in the thing to help Splinter with the. I just loved to be in any part of that. But they were showing me all this top secret behind the scenes footage when I went in, and I watched, I think, 15 minutes. I said, have you guys started on the sequel yet? This is so this is so great. But I loved it. And that to me too was also a love poem to the original Turtle series, because it was the edginess, the dirt, the grit, the feel, the lighting, just the animation style was just perfect to what.
Yeah, I've been told that they've started on the sequel already, because I've talked to Seth a couple times, and that's all I bother him about is Ninja Turtles.
Well, he's, I remember
doing the Lord's work.
Yeah, he's doing the Lord's work. I used to see him in the comic stores in L.A., and it was just one of the weird, we were both in there for the same reason, to buy a new comic book, so we didn't engage that much. But it was, I know he's a big fan of all things comics and Turtles, and the love shows in the movie.
Yeah. Now, you have confirmed that there's a third sequel in the Ronin-verse, so what themes are you most excited to explore this time around?
Well, it was, we really didn't plan to do a sequel when we started on Last Ronin #1, and as Tom and I developed the story and worked with the Scorza brothers and Ben Bishop, we just fell in love with the Ronin-verse so much, so by the time we got towards the end, probably by issue 3, we decided we were going to do this epilogue, which shows the new Turtles with April and Casey Marie Jones. And so getting able to dig into kind of what we call, like, if you said Last Ronin might be A New Hope, Last Ronin Re-Evolution is Empire Strikes Back, and then we're working on Return of the Jedi, kind of, so to speak. No, not to give too much away. But with the evolution for Part 3, it's definitely going to be
But do you think this is going to be the end in that? I mean, I say the end, but then there was like 6 more episodes of Star Wars, but we
Yeah.
thought it was the end at the time.
Well, what Tom and I wanted to accomplish with this and IDW is to fully establish that universe, because giving birth to the new set of Turtles, having them evolve to a place that they are, it'll leave a structure and foundation to tell other stories from, whether they do not. But I think, Tom and I are also already looking for other turtle adventures and things to do. But we want to make sure we complete the third, the trilogy in the way that we saw it, and hope that it could be all that we hope it can be.
Now, the Last Ronin video game, have you had a chance to play it yet?
I've not. No, they switched developers partway through. I know they're still working hard on it. So I think there's been some restructuring in the timeline for release because of the certainly with the opportunity to do the Last Ronin movie and the video game, and I think that those things will evolve as they'll serve no wine before it's time.
Now, Kevin, we talked about this a little bit earlier, but as I told you, I have a comic book that's being announced here.
Congratulations.
Sandy, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. As someone still trying to break in, I've got to ask you, who is a legend, what advice would you give a creator like me trying to stand out in today's insane comic landscape?
It's really important to, we were lucky with the Turtles in the sense that we wrote the first issue and stayed with that concept as writing something for ourselves. So you're a fan, you grew up as a fan, the things that you love, you're passionate about, the pop culture influences. I mean, because we took from every, Bruce Lee movie and David Carradine Kung Fu to, Star Trek, everything, we put all of that love into influences and trying to create something that made us smile when we wrote it, made us, we created a universe that was all our own, that we laid stake to it, we laid claim to it. So just be true to yourself, tell the kind of story that means the most to you and makes you feel happy in your heart, and that's going to take you all the way there.
Thank you so much for that. Now, last question for you.
Sure.
You've spent a lifetime with these characters. In what ways do they still surprise you?
To me, it's quite simple, is that, whenever, even when I started, 2011 back with IDW on the comic series, it was like, you're looking at, 30 years of stories and cartoons, and we did 300 cartoon episodes in the movies. And it's like, is there a new story out there? Is there something else we can tell? And then I get the opportunity to work with these incredibly talented young people, not only writers like Tom and Eric Burnham and Paul Allure and those guys, but the artists that bring those stories to life, bring such love and passion to tell it, and it energizes the old man. So I look at it and go, man, this is really exciting. They found something interesting and unique. And when I was talking to Jeff Rowe about his influences on, say, the Mutant Mayhem, he grew up as an original Turtle fan. He had the Halloween costume, he had the toys, he had all the stuff. So when he set out to make this movie, and what he wanted to say with it was something that was personal and something that was passionate, and something that brought all the things he loved about the Turtles to bear. And that's what I love working with these folks that I get to work with now across the spectrum of things. It's just, they're fantastic, they're wonderfully creative, and it's really inspiring.
Amazing. Well, I've taken up enough of your time. Thank you so much
My
for being
absolute
so
pleasure.
generous with yours. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Nice to see you again.
Thank you.
Okay, congratulations.
Thank
on
you.
your book, by
Thank
the
you so
way.
much.
Can't wait to see it.